Welcome to Layn Turo University. I have some amazing news about Turo going to the moon. And the reason I say Turo's going to the moon is because, first thing, for all y'all that have been following my channel, or for those that are just tuning in, I also invest in stocks. And that's a term that we use, typically investors use when a stock's rising in price. We say it's going to the moon, taking off, like Tesla, which is stock ticker TSLA, company I really believe in. I'm actually delivering my Tesla to a guest. Actually, right now, it's currently 6:25 a.m. They have a booking for 7 a.m. I'm going to be there in the next probably 15 minutes. I'm going to be there a little early. See, I'm in my Tesla. Self-driving as well. And it is fairly early, as I mentioned. Look, right there, 6:25 a.m., people. That's what it's about when you're delivering cars and when you're in this Turo industry. It's all around the clock, people. I'm gonna do my best to make it as convenient as possible. Doesn't matter if it's 12 a.m., 4 a.m., 6 a.m., I'm getting cars out to people. And this is a good booking as well. So this guest is paying for deliveries, which I put at $120. And again, it gives me an opportunity to also really build wealth. That's what I love. But anyways, the purpose of this video is that Turo's going to the moon for a lot of different reasons. One, the main a few of the reasons that Turo's going to the moon, in my opinion, is first, they have actually filed confidentially to become an actual official stock to be traded on the stock exchange. So that's awesome. And so that's official. They actually are going through the confidential IPO process. I mentioned this months ago, actually. And before they even went, before they filed confidentially for IPO, which is initial public offering, which a company does to actually become public, so that public investors like you and I, that are retail investors, can actually invest in the company, which is cool. I actually created a playlist that I left a link below. Actually, it's called My Turo IPO Journey. Basically, it's my Turo IPO journey before they even went, and then they actually went. It was so cool. So I actually released quite a bit of episodes in regards to the intrinsic value of the company. What that pretty much means, it means the base thing for the interior value of what the company, because since it's not public, we don't really have their stats. So I judge and base in my opinion, but of course it's just my opinions. So if you guys are interested in understanding more about Turo and if this is a good investment, just at least on the financial investment level, link below. But let's get right to the video, people. So the reason Turo's going to the moon is for a few reasons. I'm also real estate licensed, and as most of you know, in the United States, years ago, we went through a housing crisis, and one of the reasons that we went through a housing crisis was a lot of reasons, actually, but one of the reasons is that there are actually subprime loans. I was also a 501c3 HUD certified counselor, that basically a nonprofit HUD certified counselor for a nonprofit named NACA that helped people get proper loans and first-time home buyer loans. And we would actually tell people and educate them in regards to actually making sure they don't get subprime loans. Subprime loans, I mean, you gotta do what you gotta do, but oftentimes they charge high APRs, etc. And the reason I bring that in, I'm tying that in, is because that's the crisis we're in. They're taking advantage of a lot of desperate people that got these loans and took their houses from them, pretty much. Really terrible situation. That's kind of happening in cars for a lot of different reasons, mainly because due to everything that's going on, the new environments, unfortunately, is that right now we're at a point where there's not many cars for that meet the demand. We have low supply because what happens when everything happened and this whole new environment came about, a lot of traditional rental car companies like Hertz, Avis, Enterprise, etc. I even picked up a few cars from them, to be quite honest. And I actually put them on hire car. I didn't put them on Turo. And the thing is, when I realized that, I was getting these cars for really good prices, actually, because they're selling it for basically like a fire sale, like just basically like almost like an auction, like just selling you. They're basically over leverage, meaning that they owe more debt than the income coming in. Over leverage, so they're risk being bankrupt. So they start selling their cars. You guys probably remember that. So I picked up a few cars that way as well, and I add them to the hire car platform, also a hire car host, hire car owner, I mean. And so that's what pretty much happened. So with that being said, that actually caused a situation where now there's not a lot of cars, or even dealerships and even rental car companies, and just in general, a lot of manufacturers stopped making cars because everything that went on at this current time, where we're in masks now, we're in gloves, hand sanitizer. So I mean, it's a different time frame. So we're at the point where it's just one of those things where now there's not many cars on the platform. So what happens does two things. The reason Turo's going to go to the moon, and hopefully I didn't bore you guys yet, but I just want to kind of give you a history of why it's going to the moon, so you actually understand, so you can actually feel a bit better and do your own due diligence before I'm different on YouTube. The reason it actually is going to move is 2 reasons. Well, there's a lot of reasons, but 2 that really catch my attention. The first reason is that typically, since there's not many cars, that means a lot of cars, typically basic economics 101 is that supply and demand. The more demand there is on something, the more it's valued at. The more unique something is, the more you're valued at. So at this point, it's very unique for there to be cars. There's not many cars that were being made in comparison to the that meet the demand. Unfortunately, we're well under it. So there's not much supply that meets the demand. So that means prices are priced very high, so a lot of people can't afford it. And even if they can, a lot of people aren't buying cars because it's too high. They're going well over sticker prices because there's not many cars. And when you hold off on something like that, it makes it more rare actually. And that's the unfortunate part about all this. So it became more rare. So since it's more rare, the cars cost more. So that's the main reason. So people aren't buying cars or either can't afford cars. They rather just rent cars, because renting, and if you look at the housing industry, most people don't actually own homes. At least here in the United States, most people rent. In comparison, most people don't own their own home or their own real estate. So if you own your own real estate, you usually have to have capital, some type of good credit, or some type of at least good credit and capital. But with that being said, if you actually don't have money, if you don't have wealth, if you don't know how to do, if you don't have good credit, you simply don't have a house, even if you want one, especially if you don't have the money or income for it. And something we use in real estate is DTI, debt to income ratio. We measure that to see if you qualify for a home, especially for a home loan, mortgage loan. And a lot of people don't. They don't have the income to meet it. If they have good credit, they don't have the good credit if they have good money. So oftentimes they're getting subprime loans or bad loans in cars, and same as homes. So that's what's going on, is that there's a lot of people that don't have cars because the cars are just too expensive, and also they can't afford it, or they're choosing not to buy it. And that really is what helps with us making our Turo more attractive, because now we can actually give cars. Even for overpricing, even for underpricing, whatever the case, whatever price you pick for your cars become more desirable now because you own a rare asset now in comparison to what's on the market. So when people need a car, they'd rather actually rent a car than buy a car, especially if they can't afford it. Oftentimes, it's easier to rent something than to own something because they're not as much collateral is needed, or their credit's not needed. So with that being said, that's what it is. The second part of this is that after this whole event, things are easing up, where people are going on vacation now, people are traveling again now, and so now Turo's the perfect blue ocean company for this. Blue ocean meaning new in theory, and they're actually implementing a strategy of, they're basically what they're considered Airbnb of cars. So now they're at the point where they can actually open up. So they're open up with everyone that's closed down. So Enterprise, Avis, all these other companies that were big time traditional rental car companies, Turo's left, because remember, Airbnb is the lot, Turo lot is the world. Meaning Airbnb, meaning Enterprise and Avis, these traditional rental car companies are basically limited to very non-unique cars for the most part, and at the same time they're limited to how many cars they can have, because all their cars basically go on lots. Turo's in 56 countries and counting. They're penetrating different countries as we speak. So their world is a lot. They have a lot more advantage. They have much more unique cars to handle this new environment, where people, for the most part, will end up getting a better deal. Even if they do spend more, they'll get more of a unique experience, especially now after everything that's happened. A lot of people value life in a different perspective, and that's my reason why. But again, also, this is a time where also a lot of creditors are taking advantage of subprime borrowers. So oftentimes a lot of people are getting bad deals on loans. So like, again, it ties back in, a lot of people would rather rent a car than actually purchase a car, especially when they're not getting the best deal. A lot of people don't have good credit. A lot of people don't have the proper income. We're going through a hard time. A lot of people aren't working right now. There is no, you can't supply your employer work if you're, for example, on unemployment insurance for the most part, because you have no employment income coming in. See what I mean? It's just a different time where a lot of people aren't qualifying, or they're getting really bad loans or no loans or subprime loans, just like the housing market, where this could be a big crash. It was a big crash. So there's a lot of reasons why, but that's why, in my opinion, Turo's going to the moon first, because it's a very attractive company that fits this new market and new era, and also we're at a time where Turo will actually go to the moon, because they also filed competition for stock. In my perspective, I truly believe that they will do very well once they release. Maybe they won't, maybe they will. Who knows? I believe they will though. But I do think that in the day, it's one of those things where Turo is going to go to the moon in regards to stock, where when they release publicly and release their IPO, their initial public offering for people like you and I to buy into the company, I think it's going to go through the roof. People, I think it's going to fly all the way to the moon. So I mean, that's my theory in this, why I think it's going to go. But anyways, I do believe in the company. and I think it's going to the moon for those reasons. I think it's a great opportunity for a host that want to actually grow the company before it becomes public, and that's why I reason it, because it's going to go to the moon, in my personal opinion. Like, subscribe, share. Love you guys. I'm driving to my guest right now. Got a drop off, and again, self-driving, no hands. It's kind of dark in here, people. Sorry, but it's 6:34 now. I'm about to meet with them. Like, subscribe, share. Layn out. Peace.